This is how Tim Cook just cooked Apple this time with the latest iPhone 17 series by even making the biggest tech YouTubers go nuts. From saying the new iPhone almost got their wife, Mr. Who's the Boss literally said this.
I see this product kind of like the really hot girl that you probably shouldn't try to date. You know it's bad news. You know it's not going to last. But let's be honest, you're probably going to try your luck anyway.
And MKBHD also screaming red flags.
Red flag. Some red flags qualifies also as a red flag.
However, the reason is quite valid for YouTubers getting confused. As from the iPhone 11 to the iPhone 16 series, there hasn't been a drastic shift in design or tech with each successor. Only a few incremental changes were made every year. But suddenly the iPhone 17 series comes along with dramatic change, making it the most likable and different iPhone ever made, with 17 must-know changes. The biggest change that we see in an iPhone ever, and the most discussed phone of this year, I guess, the iPhone Air, which Apple calls it just Air, not iPhone 17 Air or Slim, just iPhone Air. However, in my opinion, this segment of iPhone has always been experimental space for Apple. From being a shrink phone, the Mini, to being a variant that could fit in between the Pros and the Base, to getting transformed into a slimmest iPhone ever made. But beside from just being slim, this phone doesn't offer you much in terms of value, as we see cut down in cameras, cut down in one GPU core, and also cut down in battery, for which Apple introduced a new MagSafe, saying now your phone can last for almost 40 hours of video playback. And I don't understand this. Imagine if an Android phone just gets released in the market saying we have a 7000 mAh carbon silicon battery where the video playback can last almost for 7 days. But if you want to action this for a month, then we have got our 10,000 mAh wireless power bank where it can help you to last your video playback more than a month. Wow, amazing. Apple, we get it that he had to cut down components to make the phone so slim. Many of you might ask, what about the bending issues about this phone, as the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus had bending issues because it was the slimmest phone ever made before this. I think this phone doesn't come in that category as it's made out of titanium, and when it comes to bending, it's quite durable, but if you try to bend it forcefully, it might bend a little bit. But apart from just being cosmetic or just being slim, this phone can be only for people who just wants to set impression, or it can be center of discussion, like somebody can come and ask you, what phone do you have? It's so slim. But my verdict would be this phone is just a good Apple phone. The next change that we see is in selfie camera, which is upgraded from 12 megapixel to 18 megapixel, and this camera is quite different, as now it helps you to take landscape selfies with vertical orientation, and Apple calls it the center stage. And the reason behind is that now you get a 50% larger square sensor, not a rectangular, as majority of the camera sensors are rectangular, which means the camera can automatically expand the field of view when people joins in group selfies with the help of Apple Intelligence. The next biggest transition is that even the base model now gets a ProMotion LTPO OLED display that can go down from 120Hz to 1Hz for always on display, with 3000 nits of brightness and 1600 nits of HBM brightness, which is highest ever seen in an iPhone. The next shift that we see is in the processor. Now all variants except for the base gets an A19 Bionic Pro chip, which comes with upgraded 6 CPU cores, 6 GPU cores, and is based on the same 3nm architecture like the A18, and is said to be 40% sustained faster than the previous chip, which I think might be due to the vapor chamber, but the Air might not perform 40% sustained faster as it doesn't come with vapor chamber cooling. However, the A19 that comes in the base gets an updated 6 CPU cores, 5 GPU cores, and based on same 3nm architect, which is now 20% faster than the previous A18 chip. So if you're someone who's planning to upgrade your phone for just performance, then it might be a not big upgrade for you, as the A18 chip is still capable and its full potential has now been utilized by the majority apps in the App Store, so your phone is still future proof. The fifth reposition that we see is in the connectivity, as Apple just introduced its first ever in-house N1 chip across all its models, replacing with the broadband chip, which is responsible for your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and Thread network connection. Along with that, they also have introduced their new C1X, especially for the Air model, and I don't know why it's not called C2, but all other variants get the modem chip from Qualcomm. Is this the proof that the Air variant is just an experiment? The next one of the best thing in the 17 series is the storage, which now starts from 256GB even from the base and goes up to 2TB, available for only Pro variants. I feel the iPhone storage issue is getting faded away from now. The next drastic shift is for all filmmakers, photographers and videographers out there, as the latest iPhones, especially Pros, have the ProRes log ACES support. You can record at 4K 120Hz, Dolby Vision HDR, and the best one is the ProRes RAW, which can only be used with an external SSD, and now it is also supported by DaVinci Resolve. You also get the OpenGate recording. Basically, this feature records video using the entire sensor, which is popular with cinema cameras. And the best feature of all is the Gen Lock, a professional technique used to sync multiple cameras, which can take multiple shots, and is also compatible now with the Blackmagic's product. I can literally just say that after this iPhone will be the first choice for any filmmakers out there, as Apple knows that it has reached that level of ascendancy when it comes to cameras that it has become directors' first choice, as directors like Steven Soderbergh, Damien Chazelle and Danny Boyle has used an iPhone for recording their films multiple times. And one of the famous shots in Danny Boyle's movie 28 Years Later, the bullet scene, was shot using multiple iPhone 15 Pro Max with a camera rig. The next safety improvement that we see is that all the models now get a ceramic shield too, which is now said to be 3 times more scratch resistant than the previous one. And along with that, now also get anti-glare reflective coating, making your screen more visible in the harsh lighting environment. And the change we all have been waiting for, Apple finally introduced its Apple-made vapor chamber, which will help you to dissipate heat more efficiently for better thermal management, adding increment in the performance, and a feature only available for the pros. The 10th added feature that you get is the dual capture. Now you can capture 2 videos simultaneously of yourself with the front and also the back footage with the back camera, but you won't get 2 separate video outputs. Instead, you just get combined video. So if you want output of 2 videos, then you might need a third-party app. The next unprecedented shift that we see after years is in the design. And do you remember when Apple introduced its titanium body, saying it's the most toughest and the strongest iPhone ever made? However, Apple shipped back to aluminum again with aluminum body design, and this time it quite makes sense as it would just make the phone more lightweight, better thermals, and it would just reduce the cost. And this time the phone is also quite thick due to add-up components. And talking about the design, this year you get dual tone or sandwich kind of design. The upper part of the camera, Apple calls it the plateau, and the glass cutout, the ceramic shield at the bottom. And all the iPhone users, after some time you face a broken glass back issue. That cost might get reduced as majority of the body is made of metal now, so you have to just pay for the small glass cutout. And some of you might ask, adding so much metal may cause network issue. Even I had that question, but the antenna design that we see on the top, I think that can compensate that problem. The next weird change that we see, if you're a classy guy who loves black and white, the Pros does not offer you black color, and if you want black and white, only the Air and the base gets that color. So yeah, it is what it is. And if you're someone who's really buying the iPhone Air, then it's a eSIM only device, as the phone is so thin they couldn't add the SIM slot. But if you go for the Pro eSIM variant, then you might get extra battery backup because the SIM slot that you see has been utilized for the battery now. The fourth biggest shift that we see is in the Apple Intelligence. Oh, sorry, my bad, did I say change? In the event, the word Apple Intelligence was a ephemeral or a faded away kind of topic. No upcoming serious discussion or major update on the Apple Intelligence. On the other hand, Google is doing a phenomenal job with its Google Pixel by integrating Gemini. One of my favorite features is the Ask Photos and the Magic Cube, where it would just get the overall data and assist you in most organized way possible. And I feel it's high time now that Apple needs to raise its bar. Though internally, Apple has already acquired 32 plus AI companies till date. So it can be old Apple pattern, like they are late but they give you the best output. And same goes with the foldable. They might be late but they might release the best foldable ever. The third last updated feature is that now your camera can go from 1x to direct 8x. Optical zoom, which is 200mm, now 5x. They have just cut out the 5x now. And if you use AirPods, now you get a live translate multi-language feature. This feature is even compatible with previous AirPods, and the latest AirPods can also act as hearing aid for people with hearing problems. And the last shift is in the Apple Watch. If you're someone who uses your phone along with the Apple Watch, now the latest Apple Watch 11 gets a 5G hypertension detection and a custom Apple ceramic coating that makes it 2 times more scratch resistant than the previous one. And the final conclusion and my point of view would be, and this is an interesting one, imagine if Apple had introduced their latest iPhone 17 series with same incremental change like each and every year. Would people have cared about it? As they have already messed up with the AI scenario and they have been facing a lot of criticism because of it, from broken promises, not talking much about Siri or Apple Intelligence. And this is how I see it, that in business there's something called strategic silence or redirection strategy, where a company emphasizes strengths to divert the attention from weaker and unfinished areas. And talking about the iPhone 17 lineup, the base variant is one of the best value for money out there, as you get the best display like the Pros, best cameras like the Pros. Overall is the best base iPhone ever made in my opinion. And talking about the Air, I feel it's just a cosmetic, as I said, impression kind of phone where you'd have the biggest problem with the battery, I guess. And apart from that, if you're someone who uses a phone lightly, you are not totally into social media or scrolling kind of thing, then this phone is for you. Alright, if you want people to ask about your phone and set impression, if so, then that phone is for you. And talking about the Pros, I would say it's one of the best Pros ever, as you get a new latest as 40% faster and sustained performance than the previous one, which makes it the most powerful iPhone ever made. Yeah, and yeah, if you want to upgrade your phone for better filmmaking or the best phone that you want on the planet, then you can go with the Pros. I hope this video made sense and was helpful to you. So until next time, hasta la vista, adios, and peace out.